So during everyday social interaction, people alter their presentation to suit the audience who are forming a perception of them based on a multitude of factors. This is called impressions management, and this has been described as the presentation of self in everyday life. The concept articulates that people can control the impression they give off by limiting the amount of information they emit. People exhibit information of themselves through verbal language, body language, and appearance. So when people are in public, their behaviour can alter to be consistent with this front persona. This may mean that they're more conscious about the expressions they release. However, in contrast, the way they act backstage may be more reflective of their true self, as they don't have to conform to a specific role that they usually play in society. In relation to financial statements, companies use impressions management in order to present themselves in a specific way that can be perceived in a favourable light. They have the ability to control what they tell us, and this can impact external perceptions. This is known as self-disclosure. So financial statements are used as a communication tool with shareholders, and entities have the authority to choose how they present the financial data depending on the narrative they desire. For a company to succeed, they must maintain a strong public image, especially to shareholders, so they must appear in a positive light. Impressions management provides entities with the opportunity to benefit from suitable disclosures, as managers can control the information presented. This can be useful to companies as they can withhold negative information and help promote other positive outcomes, thus distorting the perception of financial statement users.
Managers may use impression management to hide disastrous financial results. The shareholder principal expects the agent's managers to provide a desired set of results which can drive managers to alter some changes and show a more favorable outcome to impress the shareholders. By using techniques such as selectivity and appropriate language, they can obfuscate bad performances to make them seem not as bad on financial statements. In the event of any business scandal, companies can control the narrative by keeping complete secrecy through the use of self-disclosure. If a company doesn't tell shareholders about scandals, they prevent bad impressions being made. And however, if a scandal does get released into the public eye, as was the case for Enron, the managers can attempt to minimize negative effects by either downplaying, justifying, or even denying the issue. The Leary and Kowalski states that there are 3 reasons why managers engage in impressions management. First is opportunistic behavior, where they aim to get maximum benefits out of limited risks involved. Second is the public image is in line with their social image. And third is the shareholder theory, where shareholders expect a desired set of results, and to achieve those, managers might engage in impressions management. Managers may use self-presentation and control this impression depending on multiple scenarios. A manager may want to present their front persona in front of employees and from the back, and it's different from the backstage persona. For example, an authoritative manager will show a more verbally assertive behavior, while a modest manager like Mark Zuckerberg might show a positive and encouraging behavior. Managers may act differently to customers compared to employees, as the aim is to attract as many customers as possible, which means the manager must present himself positively on behalf of the business. Soft and kind verbal language is presented by these. A manager may also decide to withhold certain information about the company in order to keep things steady. For example, if the manager was aware the employees were likely to be made redundant, the employees, if they find out, they might not work properly, but if they don't find out, their motivation level is still intact.
The next part of our group is talking about how impression management is used by Tesco. So in the 14th of January 2013, Tesco and other famous supermarkets in UK hit the news headlines all around the world. The Food Safety Authority of Ireland published a report and showed that horse DNA was found in some meat products. During the period, 5 products from Tesco are forced to be withdrawn from sale due to horse meat. So we are now going to talk about how Tesco responded immediately after the report of Tesco. So firstly, an unreserved apology. In just 2 days after the Food Safety Authority of Ireland's report, which is the 16th of January, Tesco issued a full-page advertisement on different national UK newspapers to apologize for selling beef burgers, which contain horse meat. As a consumer, we're concerned on our health issue, which product is affected, and then whether a refund will be made. Rather than being silent to the event, they did tell their customer that what is happening in a highly transparent way. To compare with the 1988 Carmel Ford water pollution incident, Tesco did a really good job in telling the consumer what is happening, and which this is important to retain consumer confidence. Secondly, Tesco adopt an internal investigation. Tesco has dropped 2 big suppliers within a month, which is costly for them as they have to find another stable supplier again, which may incur huge legal fees, agent fees, and transportation costs. Customers will be delighted to see that Tesco keeps their promises as they find out that what is going on and give customer answers after their internal investigation. Also, after they have found out that part of the frozen everyday value spaghetti bolognese contained horse meat, they did not conceal the truth, but to tell customers that what is happening and to withdraw all product from sale. This could impress their customer by ensuring a high quality product, which can retain consumers' confidence.
The public is not only interested on company financial performance, they are also interested company social responsibility. So, corporate responsibility report can be an effective tool to create positive brand image and protect or enhance their reputation. Tesco has published 2013 Corporate Responsibility Review with 64 pages, which is far more than the previous year. It can be considered that Tesco is keen to deliver more information regards to their responsibility as playing as a good citizen. And meanwhile, they also introduced their new course purpose, which are we make what matters better together. And we have analyzed the reports, which we found that the positive words are more frequently used than the negative words, which is one of the impression management techniques, narrative technique. Such as, like positive words like high quality, better relationships, honestly labeled are used in the review. Yeah. And there is no food trust section mentioned in 2012 review, so we compared 2 similar content from previous year and 2013 review. As we can see that those highlighted in yellow color are the positive words, which are more used than the negative words, which is highlighted in red color, where it downplays the negative side, and Tesco are attempting to rebuild readers' confidence. Yeah. And now
after the initial response to the issue, Tesco started to reach out to the public in order to loosen the tension between Tesco and the stakeholders and to rebuild the trust between the company and the public. And these actions are change of source of meat, clarifying statement from National Farmers Union, and starting an ad campaign. And firstly, for the change of source of meat, Tesco started sourcing different kind of meat from farmers in the UK instead of finding cheaper products from worldwide. And this action gave the impression of a change in system management to the stakeholders, which dealt with the problem that stakeholders are most concerned. And at the same time, changing the way how Tesco works will allow the company to be more aware of crisis in the future and successfully deal with the issues. With that being said, chances for similar incidents happening will be significantly lowered, and the stakeholders can be more confident with the company. Secondly, clarifying statement from the NFU. Tesco tried to rebuild the trust between the stakeholders and the company by having a senior executive from the National Farmers Union to make a statement for the company to clarify that Tesco is now selling meat as they are stated on the packages. And by having the largest farmers organization in the UK to speak for the company, the persuasiveness of the statement is unquestionable. And lastly, the ad campaign. Tesco started an ad campaign after the scandal, informing the public that they were making changes to their supply lines and increasing transparency of the company in hope of bringing trust back. And the advertisement has the heading of "What Burgers Have Taught Us." And this headline shows that Tesco understand that they made a mistake and they are humbly apologizing to the public. The ad had already given a positive impression that Tesco had learned their lesson and will be extra careful when handling any products and supplies in the future.
Show you how the share price of Tesco responded to the techniques we mentioned above. On 16 January, Tesco made an unreserved apology, and as we can see from the figure, the share price of their day is also the lowest point during this period, which is just 347.1p. There is an obvious decline from 15 January to 16 January, and after 16 January, the share price of Tesco rises in fluctuation. Although Tesco used impression management immediately, it still needed time to rebuild customers' trust in the quality of meat products that Tesco sold. However, the apology means Tesco is brave to admit all the faults it had made and is trying its best to recover losses, which is helpful to improve company image. The increases of share price after apology demonstrate that the technique Tesco applied is correct and useful. Let's look at figure 2. 30 January is the day Tesco launched an internal investigation and found the origin of meat is outside the UK and Ireland, which is contrary to the supermarket chain's policy. The share price falls to 357.35p because this negative and disappointing result of investigation. But as time goes by, there are more and more people being moved by Tesco's transparency and humble attitude. So investment will return back to Tesco. Just as the figure shows, the share price goes up in fluctuation gradually. So the technique is also positive and beneficial.
Tesco has declared they are going to review the supply chain in the UK and expose it to the public. And it makes their share price increase from 366p at 1st of February to 374.4 at 20th of February. And Tesco has also introduced a new DNA testing process to their meat products and guarantee that they will provide all their chicken meats from the UK farms instead of local farm before the July of 2013. It makes their share price increase from 361 at 27th of February to 377.3 at 11th of March. And when the scandals discover, the customer has lost their confidence, and it makes the share price decrease because the investor has aware about the scandal happened has affected badly to their performance, and it makes their share price decrease. After they declare to review their supply chain and guarantee their quality of the products to the customers, it helps to send a message to the customer that they are trying to redeem themselves to prevent the same thing happen again, and they are trying to be responsible to the corporate social responsibility. It helps the customers to increase their confidence to the Tesco products again. And also, Tesco has tried to use self-enhancement. According to the NFU poll, found that 78% of the customers want to get the meat from the UK instead of foreign meat. And Tesco is trying to offer the favor to the customer by providing more local meat instead of the foreign meat, and it helps the customer to rebuild their confidence and the loyalty, and so more customers will try to go to Tesco and shop again. And it helps to achieve a better performance of Tesco, and the share price will eventually increase. And also it helps to attract more new customers for these techniques they use.